Hello and welcome to another episode of Candid Talks with Bharat V. This is Bharat Vatsal, your host of the show. आज हम बात करेंगे एक ऐसी शख्सियत के साथ जो कि लेजेंडरी एक्टर कपल लेट शम्मी कपूर जी और लेट गीता बाली जी के सुपुत्र हैं. Hailing from the first family of Indian Filmdom, born on 1st of July 1956 in Amchi, Mumbai, he is none other than Aditya Raj Kapoor. Please do listen to the episode till the end. Before we begin, please do not forget to subscribe to this podcast channel, and you can connect with me on my Facebook page at Candid Talks with Bharat V. So let's welcome Aditya Raj Kapoor. Hello sir, welcome to Candid Talks with Bharat V. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Bharat V, for having me on your show. I'm doing very well as can be.
It's my absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. So, Aditya sir, you were born in Amchi, Mumbai on 1st of July 1956. So, how was your childhood, as the son of the legendary actor couple, late Shammi Kapoor Ji and late Geeta Bali Ji, and hailing from the first family of Indian Filmdom?
Well, I was born at a time when my father had just become famous.
Okay.
He got his first success in 1956.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother was, they married in 55.
Okay.
So 56 I was born, and 55, 56, my mother was completing her assignments that she had on hand to be a full-time mother and housewife.
Okay.
And my father just got his first success with Tumsa Nahi Dekha, Dil Dekhe Dekho.
Right.
Those films. So I guess they welcomed me with a lot of joy. And
okay.
I remember being always in the goldfish bowl, as they say. So different kind of a beginning for people.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, everywhere I looked, everywhere my eyes could see, there was only a film human being. Wasn't anybody else,
Okay.
So it was like that. People, fans, story writing, script writing, cinema, more cinema and more cinema. It just continued like that for the first 5-10 years.
Understood. So, talking about the Kapoor Khandan, tell us about the family tree. I mean, Raj Kapoor Ji, Shammi Ji, Shashi Kapoor Ji. So, where exactly were they from? And then how they started in films? If you can just give us a quick background.
Okay. I'll give you a little background about the entire family tree. My grandfather, the late Prithvi Raj Kapoor,
Hanji,
the grand patriarch of this entire family,
right,
was from Pakistan.
Acha.
And
before the partition. Okay.
Before the partition.
Yeah.
I mean, he was from India, but in the
obviously
now
yes.
And he from Peshawar, basically.
Hanji.
And he was, his parents, Mr. Visheshwar Nath, they were all landlords. They had villages under them.
Okay.
And Mr. Prithviraj Kapoor was very fond of drama and theatre and education.
Okay.
He had a full, college education.
Acha.
But he was more fond of drama.
Okay.
And he took up Shakespeare, and he took up Western drama, etc.
Wow.
And before the partition was envisaged, he took because the film industry was developing in Calcutta. That was where the first Bollywood was. So at that time, he decided to plunge into the film industry. So he arrived in Calcutta and he became extremely famous.
Okay.
And this was the silent movie era.
Right.
And then from there, he migrated to Mumbai when Bollywood shifted to Mumbai.
Okay.
And you might say, then one by one, he got his family into India before the partition took place.
Okay.
Because he was more into cinema, wherever it existed. The Indian film industry had started becoming very, very vibrant by that time.
Right.
So Raj Kapoor Ji, his eldest son, was born in what is now called Pakistan.
Acha.
He was born in Calcutta, sorry. He was born in Calcutta.
Oh, okay.
But he kept going up and down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And The remaining two people, the next person is Mr. Shammi Kapoor, that is my father, and the next person is Mr. Shashi Kapoor, my uncle. So these three people, Raj Kapoor, Shammi Kapoor, Shashi Kapoor, were his children, his three children.
Right.
And they had he had one daughter by the name of Urmila Kapoor, who became Urmila Syal, and she settled down in Nagpur.
Okay.
Now, these people, this whole family, and his father and his uncle, aunties, and various joint family system, they all moved to India piece by piece. He got them into India. And after staying in some kind of a refugee camp, then they came to a place called Matunga in Bombay.
Right.
Matunga. And my grandfather, Prithviraj Ji, took up residence there. And that entire lane, a small lane, became known as the Hollywood lane.
Achha.
Because
Okay.
all film stars started living there.
Okay.
So there is Mr. Prithviraj Kapoor, there is Mr. Raj Kapoor, Mr. Shammi Kapoor, Mr. Shashi Kapoor.
Okay.
I am the son of Mr. Shammi Kapoor, the middle gentleman.
Anji.
Mr. Raj Kapoor took up to film, became a film assistant with Kedar Sharma, and then subsequently launched his own, he started acting in film, then he launched his own direction, his own film company.
Right.
He went the route of producer, actor, director, showman as they call it.
Right.
My father took to the line of acting and stayed in acting. He had no desire to do anything else.
Okay.
Shashiji took to the line of acting and theatre.
Acha, he was in theater also. Okay.
No, all three brothers were in theatre. When Mr. Prithviraj Kapoor came to Bombay, by that time he started a concept called Prithvi Theatre
Okay.
to communicate the partition and the anti-British theme,
Right.
everything to the people.
Right. Okay.
So all his anti-British theme and all his, quit India, whatever he had to package,
Yeah.
he packaged it through the dialogues of all of his plays,
Amazing.
And then whenever there was a war collection, he would stand outside the theater with his arms bowed, and his hands like this, and people would put money. Obviously, you would give money to Prithviraj Kapoor,
Right.
and that would go to the war effort. So Prithviraj Ji was a Sufi character, very different altogether, completely different. He was born on his own terms, he lived on his own terms, he died on his own terms.
उनका तो जो डायलॉग डिलीवरी और जो उनकी वॉइस उसमें ही सूफियाना पना है.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yeah. Right.
So this is where these three people came. That Mr. Raj Kapoor had Ranbir Kapoor, Rishi Kapoor, and Rajiv Kapoor.
Anji.
As the three guys who came into cinema, and my father Aditya, that is me, I never came into cinema at the right time. And then there is Shashiji had Kunal Kapoor and Karan Kapoor. They came into cinema and then got out, and Kunal, the elder one, went into advertising, and he's one of the top 10 advertising companies in India right now.
Okay.
And Karan Kapoor became a photojournalist, and he became a photojournalist of repute in Britain.
Okay.
So everybody branched into different areas.
Okay.
Myself, I was, you might say, the black sheep of the family, because I never got into any part of cinema at all. I got into business. I became a management guy.
Yeah, I believe you started to, work at a very young age of around, I think, 16 or 17 as assistant director, and then you shifted to corporate world.
Yeah. So at the age of 16, after failing in school, I joined RK Studio. I joined Mr. Raj Kapoor, Mr. Ranbir Kapoor, both of them. I spent 4 years there as an assistant director for Dharam Karam, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, and the end of Bobby. So it was the end of Bobby, then Dharam Karam, and Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
Okay.
So each film follows the other, like cyclically.
Okay.
And I spent 4.5, 5 years there, great fun. And by the time I was 18, 19, I met my Guruji, my Guru, spiritual master. He's from a place in Uttarakhand called Haldwani, somewhere near there.
Okay.
It's commonly known as Babaji, Bhole Baba. And he took me in his, you might say, wing,
Okay.
And he slowly molded me, or he unmolded me. I don't know which he did. But he took me out of the film industry. And one day he told me, when I was probably ripe and ready, he said that I wanted to do something different in your life. So he put me with a businessman. Jao unki naukri karo.
Acha, so that was the main reason, that you decided to make your career to go out of the league of Kapoor Khandan.
Yes.
Okay.
I had no brains at that time to say that I want to be a management guy. Well, I was not educated. I have not even a diploma. I don't know how to spell diploma at that age. Like, but you tell me to act, you tell me to direct, you tell me to edit, you tell me to write, I can do it.
Right.
I was ready to become a film actor, and I had producers lining up at that. You know, when you are 19, 18, 19, 20, all the producers come to your door like, okay, humko karo this project, that project. So I quietly walked out of that whole thing because my guru told me so. And I haven't regretted that ever since.
Okay.
And I began a 40-year, I would say 35-year cycle of business without having a clue of what I am doing. A clue. I didn't have any certificate. I didn't know any kind of business. I hardly knew how to staple a paper, you know. I didn't know how to address a common letter. I started the difficult way and I struggled and I came up. And by the time I retired completely. I had become a management consultant. I got involved in amusement parks. Mm-hmm. I set up a fashion school in Dubai. I set up educational business between Israel and India. I did a lot of hard work all throughout my life. And as a management consultant, I started my life as a warehousing guy because warehousing is the simplest thing to do. Godam. Right. It's a no-brainer. Like you just have a shutter, you have a go down, and that's it. So I started from there and ended up being a management guy with pretty good work all over the world, good repute. Okay. My own company. And then the last 5 years before my father expired, strange destiny pushed me back in the film industry, you know. Okay. I was handling a project. It's very amusing. I was handling a project in Sharjah. I was setting up a television station in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates. Achha. And one of my investors ran away, which is what happens, you know. 4 come, 1 doesn't come. So my Arab chief told me, why don't you lessen the cost of your company and direct the movies yourself only, you know, because you are Raj Kapoor's assistant. So I said, okay, might as well, yeah. I mean, what the hell? Who do I have to ask to direct something? Nothing. It's in my womb. It's like my thought in my mind. You know, I heard of it in my mother's womb, like, you know. Right, yeah. So I just got out of I just changed my clothes from a tie and coat and suit, and I wore a pair of jeans which I tore with a scissor, and I wore a t-shirt, and I directed 300 episodes of some television work which I had written. Achha. And there I launched myself as a film director. Okay. Then my dad fell terminally ill around that time, so I came back to India. And I spent 5-7 years as an actor here. Because I was into it, like, you know, I said, okay, my father was very happy. He saw my face on the screen at least, you know. Yeah. I mean, it must have been his wish always that, you know, why my son is not. So it is destiny, like, you know, it is destiny. And then my father expired a few years later. And I stopped all work. I said, now there is no concept of going to an office or going to a studio or going to earn money as such. Right. Money has to come to you. You know, you don't have to go to money. Like as a consultant, you go to your client. Like, you know. Yeah. It's just a thought in my mind. And I retired from active business, so as to say, and from film and everything. And I led a more busy life. I became a motorcyclist. So hold that thought, sir. I mean, before we move to the, your biking experience. So there are many unknown facts also about you, you know, that you never took any money from your parents after leaving, you know, films in the early stage. You worked, as you said, you know, you have a mix of lot of career options which you tried at, and you always took care of your own expenses by yourself. So, iske baare mein thoda sa koi incident you can just, let us know. No, it's not that, firstly, let me correct it a little bit. It's not that my parents did not take care of me. I was staying with them. We were a joint family, absolutely. What I meant to say is that when you went out of the film league, and I think you started your work in outside world of the film. Yeah, I got it. So I never took money from my parents for investing into something else. That's what you are trying to say. Like, you know? Yes. And I thought I would do it on my own in a small way, in a simple way. And I never regretted that. But my parents' blessings were always with me. But I had a tough time because, let me tell you an amusing incident, which sounds very silly today. But, you know, when I was a 22, 23, and I went to get my first bank loan because I needed in a warehousing. You are aware, you need a automotive vehicle, you need a tempo, a small truck. So I didn't have a tempo. I couldn't afford ₹150,000 to buy a tempo. But I had no capital. So, and nobody would employ me. I went everywhere for employment, but nobody would employ me
Okay.
So I went to the bank and said, here are my documents and here's the collateral, $25,000. Please give me a loan for buying a Bajaj Tempo of ₹150,000. So he said, show me your documents. He said, where are your education certificate? I said, I don't have. I haven't finished school. He said, get out.
Achha.
So I went 3-4 times to him. I said, please, what is this? I'm a good guy, English speaking guy. I will not run away. My warehouse is next to your bank only. I'm banking with you all this time. He said, Jo, taklif mein kyun aate ho? Baap ke paas jo paisa maang ke aao na.
Oh.
So that really hit me hard. So I went to all the institutes. I went to Tata Institute. I went to Bajaj Institute. I went to that college in Villa Parle. I went to all kinds of institutes. So they please take me, give me a diploma. Let me attend a course for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 2 years. I want to study marketing, management, any damn thing. Nobody took me in because I didn't have a school certificate. Then finally, one institute which had just opened up 10 days before I landed up at his office. Obviously, they needed the money, So I went to him and I gave my documents to him and I changed my whole concept of approaching somebody.
Okay.
So there I went not as Aditya, but I went as Shammi Kapoor's son. I'm a big time guy. I said, I just want to take an institute. I want education because my father wants it like that. All nonsense I gave. So that guy got taken in by the whole thing, So he said, yes, sir, definitely. So I said, here's the money. I gave him the full fee instead of giving him every month, Pura paisa de diya usko. So he was very happy. Shammi Kapoor's son is here for education and all that. Then he sent my documents to the accountant to have a look at. So accountant came back whispering के साथ इसमें कुछ education कुछ नहीं है ये तो management करना चाह रहा है but उसके बाद तो school का भी certificate नहीं है.
अच्छा.
So that guy said, Aditya, I am very sorry. So I said, look, I am opening the window and I will jump out of this window and die and I will blame you. So he said, how can you do that? I said, I will do that. I am fed up of life. This is ridiculous, absolutely. So that guy said, don't do it. I said, I was on the 9th floor of Atlanta building, Nariman Towers. I said, I will kill myself here and I will say, you're the guy who pushed me. So sign on that document. And if you want some more money, take it. The poor guy started shivering. You're the principal. He said, okay, I'm accepting you. I mean, it's not a big deal, So I gave him the money. I said, first you sign, then I will come down from the window. So then he signed, he took me on. Then we became good friends. I think his name was Professor Ojha or something like that.
Okay.
And we became good friends and my interest in marketing started there. I got a marketing diploma of 6 months. I stood second in my class in that.
Wow.
I was very proud of it. So it seems obviously that I had a leaning towards it, but I needed to be pushed and carried forward. So these are some of the remarkable incidents that I had, and I led a fun life, very adventurous, very adventurous. Before one client got over, I had 2 clients ready.
Wow.
I set up so many amusement parks all over the country. I was involved in all of the North Indian amusement parks. And at one time, if I approached the bank with an amusement park project, it was accepted immediately because I was the only consultant in the country for an amusement park. There was nobody there. So it was good fun. Then I did a joint venture with Israel and R. Mohan, Goodnight Mohan, if you remember a guy. So did a lot of fun stuff for clients. I positioned myself as a business consultant. You want to get something done, hire me. I will employ the whole team. I will do the market research, development, project report, give it to you, get it started and get out.
Amazing.
So that was my skill. That is what I did.
And I think after a gap of some years now, later on you decided to pursue the undergraduate program from IGNOU also.
So after I retired from all of this, you've done your homework. After retiring from all of this, I wanted to close the gaps.
Yeah.
So my daughter told me, Dad, why don't you study and complete your education?
Right.
So I did my first year, I got 61%. I did my second year, I got 61%. And my third year now is happening with COVID. Of course, one is being a little careful now.
Yeah.
So probably I will give my exams now in December or in June, either of these 2 times.
Okay.
I'm an undergraduate student of philosophy at Indira Gandhi National Open University.
Awesome.
I'm enjoying it very much. And I do a lot of online work. I have my own website called Fundamental Space.
Okay.
which helps people to understand what is their fundamental space, how much space can they call their own, and how much space belongs to somebody else. It's a very conceptual thought that always bothered me, because I used to get intimidated by people. So when I took up philosophy, I realized that all that they're teaching is something I've learned in life somewhere or the other, but they are formalizing the teaching,
Understood.
That's the reason I took up philosophy.
So basically, whatever you learned the hard way through your experiences, basically they were helping you in your academics later on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I mean, this is something which many people they don't. And if I talk about myself, whatever we have learned in our academics, because when you actually go out in the field, practicality uski itni zyada hoti nahi hai, whatever you learn in the academics. So amazing. So Aditya ji, before we move ahead, ek request hai, if you can please help us with some famous dialogues of Prithvi Raj ji, Shammi ji, and Shashi Kapoor ji, if you can.
Dialogues?
Yeah, anything. I mean, anything that you can. ऐसे इतनी आसानी से तो छोड़ने वाला नहीं हूँ सर आपको.
Prithvi Raj ji is memorable dialogues mostly are in Mughal Azam.
हाँ जी.
सलीम तुम्हें मरना नहीं देगा और हम अनारकली तुम्हें जीने नहीं देंगे. So that is the most famous, one of the most famous dialogues that Prithvi Raj ji spoke.
Right.
Shammi ji is more of song guy, So if you play O Hasina Zulfo Wali, Jaane Kahan, Jaane Jahan, or if you play Aja Aja Main Pyar Tera, or if you play Jangli, Chahe Koi Mujhe Jangli Kare, that is more meaningful than his dialogues like.
Right.
And Shashi ji, forget his dialogues and forget his singing. Just look at his looks. If you see Shashi ji's looks,
he was god. Totally,
Yeah, if he was a Greek god born in the Indian film industry, it is only Mr. Shashi Kapoor.
Yeah,
I mean, I respect everybody else, but and I'm not prejudiced. I'm telling you as a very, after a lot of research, he has a Greek look about him. You see him in this movie, Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. Raji has taken his work at 5:30 in the morning when Zenith is singing Satyam Shivam Sundaram, and he just wakes up. Yeah. And it is 5:30 in the morning. Why? Because the first sunlight, the first yellow light that comes out is very pure. There is no pollution in that that particular light. So that yellow glow that comes on his face, my God. Even Mr. Raj Kapoor was in tears by that time because he's his younger brother actually.
I actually read about this.
All of us are stunned at the way he's looking.
Yes. Yeah.
So Shashi ji was more known for that, and of course he did memorable work and
absolutely.
So many films. He did a lovely film where he began his second part of his career. I forget the name. Maybe you can get it. It's based upon the Mahabharata Karna's character, Satyog.
Acha, okay.
Satyog. You see his work in that film. He acts as Karna himself, but in a modern concept. There are two warring families, etc., etc. It's called Satyog. Brilliant movie.
Right.
So Shashi ji has stood the test of time with so many actors. You see him in Diwar against Amitabh Bachchan. Movies for Amitabh Bachchan. But Shashi ji stood his ground.
Yes.
So Shashi ji, being again a theatre artist, see all these three brothers, when Prithvi Raj ji started the theatre, they all worked in the theatre. They had to work. They either worked as an actor or as a helper or as a spot boy or something or the other.
Okay.
So my father, for example, Shammi ji, did his second year college, what was at that time called intermediate college.
Right.
In Ruya College in Matunga Sain. And after intermediate, his father told him, "Chalo, utho, bahut padhai hogi, help karo thoda." Right. Because Raji had become a film actor by that time, so he could not work in the theatre.
Right.
So the next person has to take over now.
Yeah.
So this is the way life came. So that theatre background helped all these three gentlemen to become very solid performers.
Yeah.
Very solid performers. They could remember three pages of dialogue.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean.
Were they also into singing? I mean, apart from acting and theatres, anybody of them used to sing as well?
Yeah. My Raji used to sing pretty well.
Hanji.
I mean, he would sing functionally singing because the film director. He was, of course, pitch perfect. Shashiji used to sing on and off.
Okay.
But Shammi ji was a professional singer.
Oh, he was singer also. Okay.
He was a professional singer. He learned singing at a young age.
Okay.
And he could sing very well. That is why he got into the sing-song situation very comfortably, because he could copy everybody, or he could, do it very well.
Okay.
And a little known fact is that my mother, Geeta Bali ji, the late Geeta Bali ji,
Hanji.
she sang for Lahore All India Radio.
Oh. Okay.
Before partition, when she was in Amritsar,
Hanji.
and she had to support her family. So from Amritsar, she went to Lahore she signed a contract with All India Radio to sing for them.
Wow.
So singing has been there, singing and definitely music has been there.
Music से एक चीज और याद है. I mean, राज जी के बारे में एक चीज बहुत वो है कि he never learned to play any instrument. However, he could play any instrument, whatever. आप कुछ भी instrument उनको दे दो, and he used to pick it up and start playing that. Is it really true?
That is true. That is an actor basically, and even his son Rishi Kapoor was like that.
Wow.
Both of them, even Rishi, he can't play the piano, but you see so many movies, he's doing so many things. My father used to play harmonium. He was a harmonium player. He was a piano player. He's a music man. He knew rag. He knew all of these things inside out,
Amazing.
He and Jai Kishan used to sing rags by themselves just to pass time,
Acha.
So, but the family has been into music, in some form or the other, they're connected with it.
Amazing. So, coming to the interesting part of your life now, sir. I mean, tell us how you became a biker at the age of 50. How did this happen?
I think 2013 I started out, 56 to 13. I was some 56, 57 years old.
Okay.
I had retired, my father had expired, and I wanted to do something very different, extremely different. What is called earth-shatteringly different. So I told my son is in US. So I told him, I said, yeah, I'm retiring from work.
Okay.
So he got scared. He said, when a father retires, he lands up at a son's house, So how to stop this guy from coming here all the time? So he said, Dad, why don't you become a biker? And my son is a biker. He's a racer and a biker both. Yeah.
Acha.
He races bikes as a hobby.
Okay. What's his good name, sir?
Vishu.
Okay.
It's commonly known as Vishu. His full name is Vishwa Pratap.
Okay.
And when I used to go to meet him in Texas, in Houston, he used to race his bike on the racetrack. I was very impressed. I said, wow, what a life to have. I never got this opportunity. When you're working on the age of 60 for 350 rupees, you don't get these opportunities
Right. Yeah.
So I was in awe of my son. I said, this is something else altogether.
Okay.
So when he told me, take up biking, so I got very scared. I said, yeah, what if I fall down? He said, if you fall down, you fall down. There are hospitals, this, that. He put it so mildly. I said, yeah, this guy is joking But then I realized that he's telling the truth. So I went and bought a Royal Enfield.
Acha, you started with Royal Enfield, okay.
Yeah, I started with Royal Enfield. I bought a Royal Enfield 500cc, the teal blue color that came.
Yeah.
And there was a waiting period of 10 months.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to the office. So I said, look, I'm a 57-year-old guy. At this age, you don't have 10 months. When you're younger, you have 10 months.
Yeah.
I had to wait 10 months for a telephone line when I was young. This is very stupid. India has gone very far, So he said, sir, there is a long line. So I said, if you want some more money, take it from me. So that store manager got very embarrassed,
Okay.
So he said, sir, we are not like that. I said, then why are you not giving me? You should have a capacity, this, that, and the other, He said, let me just go outside for 5 minutes. I'll just see what is possible. Matlab jara bahar ghum ke aao. He wanted to get rid of me,
Okay.
And I went to Samne Harley Davidson ka office tha, at that time. So I walked in just to pass time. No, Harley Davidson is Harley Davidson,
Yeah.
So the store manager met me. He said, what is your name, sir? I gave my name, Aditya Raj Kapoor. In 3 minutes, he had my balance sheet in front of him. He knew who I was, what I'm doing, everything, because he took the effort of finding out,
Okay.
So he said, on the corner of that bike is there. It's called the Street. That time it was available for 6 lakh of rupees.
Okay.
He said, I'm giving it to you at 4 lakh of rupees. Take it.
Wow.
I was shocked here. He said, I'm giving it to you, Mr. Kapoor. Take it and I'll send you. Drive it now only. Ride it now only. And I'll send my peon for the checks tomorrow. I know you will not run away anywhere. He had found out my family background, everything about me.
Yeah.
So I said, sir, thank you very much, but I'm very embarrassed. I want to buy a Royal Enfield.
Okay.
And it's not the question about money, like, you know. So he said, why Royal Enfield? So I said, firstly, because that's the first sound most Indians hear when they are born, like, you know, they hear the Royal Enfield. And if somebody is riding a Royal Enfield, he has some character about him. When we were young, we saw a police inspector, corporator, some good Christian, some Bawa, some Parsi character, or a good Mastrian. There is some sound character. There was something about him, you know. You felt that uncle is going on a bike, yaar. I mean, that whole concept was there. You know? I said, secondly, when I'm buying Royal Enfield, I'm buying the exit bike of Royal Enfield. But when I buy the Street, I will be buying the entry bike of Harley Davidson. There are 40 more bikes to buy, but in Royal Enfield, this is the best bike to buy. So what should I be known as, you know?
Understood.
So that guy, he looked at me and he said, sir, I wish you all the very best and I can't argue with you. There is somebody waiting for you. Please go there. So I turned around. So the Royal Enfield manager had come to get me.
Oh.
By that time, he had found out who I was. And he heard all this conversation and he got very embarrassed. He said, Aditya, I'm very embarrassed. Please come to my office.
Okay.
So I went to his office. He said, please give me a down payment right now. In 20 days, your bike is coming.
Okay.
From 10 months, in 20 days, I gave him only one promise. I gave him one promise. Harshal is his name. Very fine. We became best of friends then.
Okay.
Harshal, you will never regret me. I will never keep this bike in my house. It will be on the street all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So he said that I will keep the bike ready for you on a Sunday because you don't want to ride in a traffic light. You know, I was very embarrassed. And my friend who's a biker, he came to pick me up. My wife was there. My daughter was there. And I went to fuel the bike. As we leave the dealership, I was supposed to fill it up with fuel. So he asked me, how are you feeling? I said, bike is not good. He said, why? I said, it is wobbling. Okay. So Aditya, you're riding very slowly. Ride a little faster.
Okay.
I was so scared. I was not going beyond 5 or 10 kilometers an hour. Can you believe it, yaar?
Wow.
I was so scared.
Okay.
So my friend said, ride it a little faster. And he was driving behind me, so no car comes and hits me, like, you know. So that is how I began my journey as a biker.
So that was Aditya Raj Kapoor, an amazingly down-to-earth and multi-talented spiritual personality who made his own identity outside the Kapoor League. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the podcast show Candid Talks with Bharat V. If you like the show, please do like, subscribe and share with others. If listening on Apple Podcasts, do not forget to rate 5 stars. If on Spotify or YouTube, do not forget to subscribe and share. All the bikers can listen to this episode on bikersclub.in. इसके साथ हम आज का सफर यही समाप्त करते हैं. बातों का सिलसिला जारी रहेगा with Aditya Raj Kapoor, Candid Talks with Bharat V के अगले एपिसोड में. Stay home, stay safe. This is Bharat Vatsa signing off for today. दुआओं में याद रखना. जय हिंद.